Hello everyone and welcome back to Malice Reviews. It's a lovely day today. And also join us yet again is Erin.
Yes, here I am again.
And we have the special pleasure of being one of the more official reviews instead of just vlogs of the new Mad Max Fury Road. So, without further ado, let's get to the plots and then we'll start talking about the movie proper. Much like Road Warrior, there's not much to talk about. Max is on the road again. He gets captured by a group called the Warboys and takes them to their boss, Immortan Joe. Joe and his Warboys use him as a blood bank in order to help keep the Warboys alive. At the same time, our other main character, Impalta Furiosa, is using a semi truck to originally turn in gasoline for trade. She's using the truck to take milk in for, I believe, gasoline for trade.
hmm
And in the meantime, she suddenly veers off course and starts heading off into the open desert. It turns out that she has taken into her custody the wives of Morton Joe who want to escape and is trying to lead them into what she believes is a safe land back in the Green Vale, I believe it's called, where
Um,
Furiosa originally comes from.
yeah, the land of many mothers.
hmm
hmm
It has a couple of
The green
different
place,
nicknames.
yeah,
Yeah, the
the
Green
green
Place.
place.
So she is trying to escape, and this gets everyone's attention. And the war boy that Max is being used to keep alive is one of the ones who is quickly getting interest in doing this fight, especially now that he's got a lot of fresh blood in him, and quickly leads the way to try and get after Furiosa. Furiosa manages to defend herself against everyone. However, she does stop in the middle of a sandstorm and is forced to stick it out with herself and the wives. When Max comes to after everything is said and done, the car that they were part of almost exploding, um, Max manages to come out of the sand and he's within barely eye shot of the semi again and quickly drags the Warboy Knox with no not Knox Nukes with him
hmm
and he holds them up with a gun that has bullets that don't work. He originally tried to use it on Nukes, but again, it just flashed and did nothing because there's too much sand. He unwillingly becomes attacked by them when they get the upper hand. He manages to fend off Furiosa and the wives and tries to take the semi, but Furiosa has a setup not like his own, but instead of making the vehicle explode, it causes it to run out of gas quickly and stops it from getting more gas until the right code is entered through the controls. Um, Promising to remove the metal face mask that is on him, Max decides to join Furiosa and the others in their attempt to escape. Um, During this, Nukes is removed from their group twice, but finally comes back to try and kill them. But in doing so, fails his original planned mission, which is to try and get into the cabin and shoot Furiosa, and loses the gun. Soon after, one of the wives is also injured. By the way, spoilers for anyone who's listening. And the wife is pretty much dead afterwards. She does appear a couple more times, but she's hardly moving.
hmm
Um, Nukes then believes himself to have failed in the eyes of Immortan Joe and decides to side with the others and try to survive. To this, him and one of the other wives actually kind of connect a little bit as she keeps him a secret until they really need him to help keep the rig moving when they hit a muddy patch. The rest of this movie is pretty much just action, action, action until we reach Furiosa's people, to which they find out that the green place was the swamp that they were trying to get through, and that it's pretty much gone to hell as well. And they decide that they're going to attempt to race across the salt flats in order to try and find safety somewhere else and far away from Immortan Joe and his reach. However, Max has a better idea that if they double back, they could actually get back to the Morton Joe's base and actually take it over. It has unlimited water supply that it has tapped in apparently a very massive and very deep well, and that it has vegetation and everything else that the people need to actually survive. It's just that Morton Joe's an asshole and doesn't want to share it.
hmm
Um, to which they double back and have get another really big end chase which ends with Morton Joe's death and sadly the death of Luke's at the very end. It also looks like Furioso might die, but with a little bit of help and improv medical help from Max, he manages to keep her alive, and they get everyone back to base. As the others are being lifted up to be the new leaders of Morton Joe's old regime, Max himself is already in the crowd, slowly walking away, gives a knowing nod to Furiosa, who also gives a nod back. So, that's done.
Mhm. Yep.
This movie. Holy
It's
hell.
yeah.
Once again, George Miller delivers like he used to. This is definitely a very good follow up to the original Road Warrior. Honestly, we don't get to meet our Max as much as we have in the previous movies, but we don't really need it because as long as you have a good actor who is more or less doing the man of few words properly, then you more or less have Max down pat already.
Yeah.
And he
They
did it.
could have Clint Eastwood in this role, and
You could
it would
have.
probably fill in perfectly fine.
As long as he knows, as long as he gets the character and he does it right, you could have Clint Eastwood even today do it. Although I think he might be a little too feeble to do all these realistic stunts.
I wouldn't say that to his face, but
I wouldn't say to his face
ancient
either, but he'd
Max.
have to catch me first. um, but God, what a good movie.
Yeah, there were quiet moments in this movie, but there was not a dull moment. I
No,
would have to say.
the quiet moments were to get the exposition across, which they did a little less shoehorny than even Road Warrior, which was amazing.
Mhm.
So Miller has kind of learned how to do exposition a little bit better than last time.
Mhm.
It's also definitely not popcorny like the third movie was, and again, we don't blame Miller for that one. He kind of lost the wheel on that with real
Mm,
life happening on him.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it just we don't blame you, Miller. But oh, by the way, something else to note is I
Mhm.
believe his wife, Miller's wife, was actually the editor for this movie.
I think so. And
I
I
know so,
believe
and it's also her first movie for editing.
okay. I think I think he brought in the lady who wrote Vagina Monologues as
Yes,
a
he did.
consultant for I think for the case of the abused wives. He wanted to make sure that they were done
Yes,
properly.
yes,
So,
he wanted to make sure that they were done properly, and they were done very well.
mhm,
They both all of them have slightly different quirks when it comes to that
mhm,
as well. So they are very interesting and very well done. He went to the right person who kind of did that book, which chronicled a lot of these different kind of abuse stories. So,
yeah, I felt it was very well done too.
mm-hmm.
Very respectful, of course, too. So, and it's just it is kind of amazing to see the dude. Like I remember hearing a while back that he had done Babe, Pig in the City, or Babe, and he had also done Happy Feet.
He did Happy Feet,
Um,
Happy Feet 2. He directed the second Babe completely on his own, and he did, I believe, second unit or something for the first Babe.
oh, okay. Yeah, it was I don't know, like I remember hearing it and then hearing it again, it's just like, wow, this is that's actually pretty good because those are pretty well those are pretty good stories. I saw Happy Feet too and it was okay, but
Happy Feet, I
Babe
saw
the
Happy
Babe
Feet in
series I
theaters, and I
really
don't
liked.
regret it.
Mhm.
It's a good
Yeah.
little popcorn movie. It's a nice little family movie, and even the Miller put it this way: he did Mad Max when he had no family. He started doing Happy Feet and stuff like that when he had a family.
Well,
And
and I
now that the
think
kids are out, Max is in full gear in his head again, and he wants out again.
yeah. Well, and it's kind of points to how well he knows kind of the human race. I think he's someone who's very kind of well versed in communication skills and
Well, he kind of
just
had to be. He was a doctor at one point.
mhm. Okay.
That's why he knew how to do these accidents and what they would look like when, especially with the aftermath, because he
Okay.
had to take care of so many car patients.
Wow.
And then all of this world got inspired by people going off the deep end when gasoline became scarce for a couple months.
That was what, 1974, I believe.
Something like that.
The
Oh,
1970s. Yeah.
and also, I believe, I don't think we mentioned this yet, Immortan Joe is played by the same man who played the Toe Cutter.
Mhm.
And you can see a little bit of both, Toe Cutter and also a little bit of Lord Humongous in this new Immortan Joe. He's
Mhm.
he's as with all of his really nasty stuff covered over with this strange sort of semi-clear armor and this
Mhm.
really menacing face mask. He is rather charismatic as a leader. He's a little more leaderly, but he's
Mhm.
also the hot-headed. I will lead the group if I have to kind of guy like Humongous was.
Yeah.
So you get to play less of a coward and more of a nasty asshole this time.
Yeah. He's and Martin Joe is a very theatrical character, which matches I believe his name was Lee's Keys.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. The actor is a stage actor. I believe he's a Shakespearean actor.
Extremely
So
Shakespearean. He actually taught Shakespeare to actors.
okay. Well,
That
yeah,
when
and that makes
when he
sense.
first got involved with the original Mad Max.
Well, and the thing with the plastic armor, I just when I saw that, I was kind of amused because I think back to that clip with The Simpsons with Adam West is like, no, Adam West didn't need molded plastic to become the Batman. It was all West.
No, 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 no.
Just back way
Um.
slowly, children.
Oh, also one of the interesting things I heard. I saw some interviews here and there while Fury Road was coming out or getting ready to come
Mm,
out. And he mentioned the fact that when he had to play Toe Cutter, um, Miller was trying to figure out how these guys to get together and kind of communicate with one another and stuff. And apparently, Toe Cutter lived like all the way out by the shore, and he had to come all the way inland in order to do the movie. And he more or less actually had to hit every single major town where all the other bikers were. So
oh,
he
okay.
said to Miller, just ship the bikes directly to us. We'll slowly gather up together and we'll come into town and we'll be ready to film by the time we get there. And that's
Okay.
how they really maintained that huge biker gang aspect because they were essentially gradually becoming a biker gang as they got there to film. It became so bad, in fact, that the Miller had to write out notices to try and keep them out of trouble with the police because they literally thought that
Jeez.
this was a rowdy group of bikers at
Mhm.
some points.
I
And
don't
that
know.
was apparently becoming a thing also already. So Miller just made sure that these guys didn't get in trouble.
Well, and speaking of bikes, I really enjoyed the variety of
Yes,
vehicles
the
in this
variety was
movie.
back in this movie. We have the Warboys, which kind of stood out on their own, even amongst themselves. They had different styles of paint in each character, which helped you
Mhm.
differentiate between them. But
Mhm.
also we had a couple of other different groups, like we had the gasoline group, we had the gun-toting group, we had the I guess you
The
can kind of call them bandits with all the spikes and everything on everything.
those were the Russians. They were
Oh, that's right.
They were
They were
speaking
speaking foreign,
Russian.
weren't they? So okay, they
Mhm.
were speaking
Yeah,
Russian, so they were Russians.
their cars were painted red and they had the giant spikes all over. Yeah, that
So
was
we
pretty
had
cool. And then you also
Russian
had the
bike
biker.
raiders.
Yeah, the bike raiders, the keepers of the pass, I would call them, but because
Mm,
as they drive through the pass, Imperator Furiosa mentions that she made a deal with them. So.
yeah. So yeah,
Mhm.
and also even the women from the women group, they had their own kind of look. They looked more or less kind of like Max used to,
Mhm.
and they
There.
also tended to ride a lot of bikes with a little less spikes to them and a little more smooth and streamlined, essentially.
Mhm. Yeah. So that was
Every
pretty good.
yeah, every
You're
group had
talking
their
about the
look.
mothers,
Yeah.
the clan that
Hmm.
Furiosa belongs to. So,
So the individual looks, not even just in vehicles, but in the way they dressed, was nice to have back again. I guess another thing to mention really quick before we go into final thoughts, our favorites and then thoughts. Um, I guess. So where would you place this in this series?
I would probably place it after the Road Warrior, but before Thunderdome.
Um, so my hierarchy is more or less this: Thunderdome is definitely bottom, but it's by no means horrible.
Oh, are you talking about like ratings? I thought you were talking about
As in overall between the
chronology.
four of them.
Oh, between the four, like which one is my favorite? This one
Yeah,
is my
we're
favorite.
this is your favorite? Okay,
Yeah,
this
this
is
is my
already for
favorite.
sure up there.
Chronologically speaking, I've heard that it takes that. I've heard that there's no chronology
The
to this
chronology
series.
is really messed up right now. It seems like George Miller wants to rewrite things, especially since he has a new Max, is my thought on
Mhm.
it. So he
Yeah.
might be messing things around a little bit. But the previous three movies are definitely a part of it already. We get
Mhm.
flashbacks of characters from previous movies in this one.
Yeah.
And I mean all three of them. People he has killed, he's getting mental flashbacks to them again.
Okay.
I definitely saw the toe cutter death with the bulge eyes. I definitely noticed that one
Mhm.
because that's one of those classic clips you just don't forget. But as for my grouping, I think the bottom is Thunderdome, which, and again, having any kind of Mad Max movie is better than no movie, but it's definitely not the best in the franchise. And then it goes Mad Max 1 and Road Warrior and Fury Road are really tied right now. I think Fury Road might work its way up to the top, but I think I need to sit with it a little while and let it digest a bit more.
That's right. You've only seen this movie once.
Yes, yes, I have.
Yeah,
I
I've seen
really
it.
want to see it again so I can try and digest it just a little bit more and catch more of those
Mhm.
details that you
Definitely.
need.
This is a movie you could probably see you're going to want to see it multiple
You're
times
gonna want to see this at
because
least 5 times before you get everything that's in there. Is my
I saw it
opinion.
the second time in 3D and there was all kinds of little details that I had missed in the first one. And that's the opinion of most of the people who have seen it too, multiple
Hmm.
times. So,
So yeah, it needs to be seen a bit more. So anyway, we're closing in on 20 minutes. So here, very
mhm.
quickly, favorite moments. I will go first. I have to say one of my favorite moments is I think the turning point for Nukes was it kind of hit home because I've had those kind of moments where it's just like, oh fuck me, bash my head against the nearest hard object. Why even try right now? Kind of deal. And then he kind of came out of it.
Yeah.
It's a bleak little moment, but it's a very good, well done, and obviously understands the characters again really well, which is why it's done so fantastically.
Hmm. Interesting.
So, your favorite moment?
Gosh.
Which one to pick?
Yeah, which one to pick? I actually kind of liked when the pass is blocked and you see the bullet farmer kind of pull up and he's like, "All this for a family squabble, stupid babies." I was just like, "Oh yeah, he's not actually. He doesn't really get anything out of this, and neither do
The gas guys,
the
no.
people eater. Yeah, the people eater and his people from Gastown. That's it. He's actually credited as the people eater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the bullet farmer and the people eater, their kind of interactions with each other, and you can tell they just despise Immortan Joe. Like,
The only reason they put
it's
up with him is because A, he's their brother, and B, because he has the water.
yeah, he has the water, and yeah, and it's just I don't know. It's interesting just to see the three interact like that, and they're of course they have their own like their own large cities. These cities are actually pretty large compared to what we see in the previous Mad Max films. Like Bartertown was the largest we had seen,
Yeah,
and
up until
these
that point.
cities seem to dwarf Bartertown.
Mm-hmm.
So
These
yeah,
looked to be pretty large bases of operations.
I would have. that's kind of one of the things that I can't wait to see in the Mad Max game is to see if they explore these cities further.
Yes, that would be
You
very
know,
nice.
so
So I think we'll skip the bad things because we're trying to press a little bit for time right now,
there
and
there wasn't too many of them.
we will be trying to nitpick anyways. It's not worth it. So
Yeah,
overall rating, I'm throwing an excellent right at the wall right now.
yeah,
This was excellent movie, fantastic movie. I've been waiting for this for like well over 20 years. It's about dang
yeah.
time.
Yeah, it was I would say that this is excellent too. Definitely worth seeing multiple times. If you need to go see it at a couple of matinees to save some change if you need to, or go see it on its way out at one of the cheap theaters a couple of times too, because it's one of those things that you're gonna want to see it. You're gonna want to see it multiple times on the big screen.
You're going to want to see it as much as you can on the big screen because not only will it also allow you to see the details a little bit easier, but it will also allow you to help fund what is quite possibly going to be the next Mad Max movie because Miller has ideas, people. He is willing to work
Mhm.
on them, and as long as he takes his time to write them up properly and get them out there in the proper manner, give him the money. Give him the money, give him the time, let him do this. If there's
Well,
anything that deserves a longer franchise by now, it's definitely Mad Max.
and we
While
do
Miller's
know that
around,
he has they have paid off the budget for this movie. I think they're at 200 million or so. They've paid it off plus 70 million.
so
So
they
it
are
was a
getting there.
hundred
They're
fifty million
getting there.
dollar.
They're definitely pushing it.
Yeah, it was a $150 million movie, and they're at something like 220 or 210 million. So it has made back its money plus profit.
So it's profitable. You know who
Mhm.
to go to if you want to get more of our money.
Yep. So yeah,
So I think that's our basic thoughts on it. Anything else you wanted to add in?
excellent movie. Go see it.
Go see it. I still hope to see it a second time. There's been
Mhm.
complications, but I definitely hope to see it a second time. So that's it for now, folks. Thank you very much for coming back in, Aaron.
You're welcome.
And we will see you all next time. See
Bye
you then.
bye.